Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special live Q&A today. I know that it isn't typical for me to do it on a Tuesday, or I guess it's a Monday today. It's all a blur. Sometimes I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Today, I thought I would do one. This is kind of like a little bit of nostalgia for me. So those of you who are following me for a long time know that Mark Holthe, started doing EE live Q&As. So it was all about Express Entry in the beginning. And it was all kind of as a result of the Express Entry Law private Facebook group. And I found that when I was doing those initially in the group, that I reached a stage where people were having trouble finding them. And they weren't even able to, to get notifications when I was going live. And it was actually quite challenging. And so I decided to then slide over and start doing the videos, or at least uploading them to YouTube so that people could easily find them. And if I flip over here to the YouTube page here, that's where this all got started. So if we go to videos here, you can see in the early days when I did these videos, and boy, I probably can't even scroll down so far. There's so many, it's probably not even worth doing this. But in the early days when I started doing the live Q&As, it was all about EE live Q&A. So you can see that the title, EE live Q&A. So I was thinking, and you guys have to go in here and hit the search button and just search through this, because there are so many answers, so much information that, that I created. And there really hasn't been substantial changes with how IRCC runs Express Entry. But this is where it all got started. So yeah, you have to go and check that out, all those old videos. And they might be old, but they're still very, very relevant. So anyways, as I went through this process, I was just thinking, wow, it's been a while since I've done one just exclusively on Express Entry. And yes, once again, if we go back here and we look at the rounds of invitations, there hasn't been anything other than PNP Draws. But if we look at these closely, these are not insignificant. So the number of people that are being drawn, you can see, are actually fairly large. So I was going to hold off and not do rounds, do another one of my over here. If I flip over to the courses, I was going to hold off and not do another Express Entry course until there were more open draws. But then I just kept getting people after people that were reaching out to me and asking me if they could get access to the course materials before the Masterclass starts, which it starts tomorrow for the February cohort here. And so, so I decided, with all of these individuals that have been receiving nominations, the interaction between the PNPs, and I really want you guys to lean in on this one, because the interaction between a nomination through the provincial nominee programs and the Express Entry filing of your EAPR can be extremely volatile, with huge landmines that people just don't appreciate. In fact, one of my clients, Alvaro, ran into that problem when the consultant that he'd hired didn't really pay any attention to the documents that were being submitted for Express Entry and just accepted them at face value because the Alberta Immigrant Nominee Program had accepted them, i.e. reference letters. And so this is a huge, massive landmine that you guys need to pay attention to. If you are someone who's received a nomination from one of the PNPs across the country through one of the Express Entry streams, you absolutely have to be super, super careful that you're following everything with excruciating detail, because just because it worked for the PNPs doesn't mean that it will work for Express Entry. So back to the Canadian Immigration Institute, and there's a link below to subscribe. There's still time for you to subscribe to this. Whether you are a PNP, whether you are a CEC inside Canada, whether you're an FSW, and obviously the PNPs are the ones that are getting the ITAs right now, but whether you're one of them or whether you're someone who's just outside, you've got, you think you've got enough human capital points or whatever it might be, or you're inside just waiting for a CEC, this course is actually for you, because it covers every single aspect of the process that is the most critical, that final step, the EAPR process. And for those of you who are, who have specific questions, you have the advantage of joining me every single evening from the 15th through the 19th, 15th through the 18th, to get your questions answered. So 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Time every evening. If you're out east, hey, that's like 7 o'clock. It's a perfect time, and that's why I structured it. If you're in Vancouver, BC, it's a little bit earlier. But from Tuesday through Thursday, because today's Valentine's Day, and I'm going out with my wife, and we're going to have a wonderful Valentine's. But tomorrow, it starts at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, and it will go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a full hour Q&A with just the people who subscribe in a private Facebook group. And then Saturday morning, I'm going to get up early for you guys. And I think probably I'm going to do it around maybe 7 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, because I'm taking my daughter and her friend skiing. I'm actually going to go winter fly fishing in one of the streams that's open on Saturday, but we're heading out to the Crowsnest Pass. And so I need to be up early to take my daughter and her friend there. I'm going to drive them. And then I'm going to go test out my fly rod and see if I can catch some nice trout in the middle of winter, which is kind of fun. So with that being said, so there's going to be something for everyone. And those live Q&As are really where the magic happens, just like this, except we can drill way, way further down. So this is an EE live Q&A, one of my one of my most favorite things that got all of this started. And then because the questions kept coming from all different kinds and aspects of immigration, we decided to open it up. And then as I've added other immigration lawyers, we've been able to have a lot of fun, which, being able to bring other lawyers on and to showcase, just how smart they are and just how knowledgeable they are, that's what makes all the difference in what I'm doing with Holthe Immigration Law, the legal side of the equation. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump in and let's give some shout outs, because this was very spontaneous, and I know a lot of you have questions. Please make sure you put a Q in front of it, and I'll definitely get to those super chats that are coming through. But hello, Ralph. Good to see you. Okay, let's use Ralph to expand our little thing here so that everybody can see it a little bit better. And I'll pull my little mic down a bit there. I'm going to adjust this a little bit, and I am going to make I'm going to see if I can make this just a little bit more. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I did that wrong. Come back here. Excuse me. I'm trying to adjust this to make it look all nice and pretty. And the reality is that I need to go into here and then back this off just a little bit. I don't even know what I just did there, you guys. Oh, that's okay. That's not too bad. It was just looking a little bit white. Nothing like changing it on the fly, hey? Nothing quite like that. Let's see if this does anything. Okay, well, there we go. That kind of makes it a little bit more see-through. Okay, we'll see how you guys do with reading that. Maybe it needs to be white, whatever. Okay, let's see where we're at. So make sure you put a Q in front of it. Divine, good to see you. Absolutely. Okay, we already got Bachelors Canada. Hello, could you please update about TRPR processing times and what is the stage now? Yeah, you know what, you guys, this is something that I know there's a lot of people out there who are wondering and waiting. And I've got a client that I just finished a consult with right now who has got her TRPR. She only has her temporary file number. She doesn't have her official acknowledgement of receipt. And so she's in the boat with many of you, just wondering where things at. And things are going slow. They are. And so I can't really say one way or another where things are at. I don't know when you submitted your application, but last I heard there were even some people still on that day one that had filed later in the day that are still waiting for their acknowledgements of receipt. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this so it works good, but it's looking to me like it might be a little bit tricky. So let's see if I can flip this around here. I'm going to mix it up a bit, and then I'm going to take this. Bear with me as I play around with this, you guys, a bit. Okay, let's see. How does that? Okay, that's a little bit better. We can see that better. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So zipping through here. Yep, Balwinder says, any update for workers in hospitality? Yeah, that we haven't heard anything yet, but we'll see. So today, remember, guys, is an Express Entry kind of focused one. So the questions, I'm really going to highlight the questions that relate to Express Entry. Tomorrow in the morning, no, Wednesday in the morning, it'll be back to my Canadian Immigration Live Q&A. So if you're wondering why I'm not answering your questions, if they're not related to Express Entry or, you know, tangentially even a little bit, that's why. So hang tight, and you can always come back Wednesday and we'll get all those questions answered and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Simply Clarence says, regarding eCoper, in my case, I did submit PR credentials 14 days ago and still haven't received it. Same with the passport stamping of my dependent outside Canada. Am I still on the right track? Yeah, understand. Like if you watch the previous videos where Chaitanya, he was in that same situation where he was waiting, wondering what the heck's going on. I've given everything. Like, why are they not sending me my eCoper? And so this is totally normal. I would not get concerned about it at all. Very, very normal. Okay. Good question. I mean, I've been waiting to see if IRCC has made any announcements. Like if we flip back here and let's go see IRCC, you can see how often I search for this. And you can see if CIC News hasn't posted it yet, then it's supposed to be, they say, between 3 and 4 Eastern time. So that's between 1 and 2 p.m. Mountain time. So I am definitely going to do levels plan, a special video this evening. It's going to have to be a little bit later. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. This is one day where I don't think I'll have an opportunity to beat Kareem and CIC News to the details of it because, well, I'll be honest. I'll tell you why. The reason is because I am going for a bike ride this afternoon with my friend, and I've had a full year and a half. You know, you guys could see how fat I was. I was just well, not that I'm really not fat now, I am still, but I put on so much weight through the pandemic and just sitting here and just grinding, and I wasn't healthy, and it wasn't good for, you know, myself. It wasn't good for anyone else. So I've been trying to work at dropping some weight, and I'm down about 20 pounds since the new year. So when you're so heavy as I was, it's pretty easy to lose weight, but I'm just trying to get a little bit healthier. So a little sidebar there from the Canadian Immigration Lawyer here. But the levels plan, you bet we're going to see what's going to happen. And like I said, the discussion I had with Minister Fraser, it was clear that they had no intention of reducing them. Now I know CELA and some of the other organizations, the Canadian Immigration Lawyer Association, are not advocating for continued expansion of the programs until excuse me, until the backlogs get dealt with. But we're seeing a lot of forward movement, and we're seeing a lot of those PR applications getting processed now. So, you know, lots of people say the end of the year the FSW backlog will be cleared, but I'm thinking mid-year, and we'll see how this all plays out. All right. And Ralph, thank you. A fan. I love fans. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Good morning. Good morning from Ireland, my friend. Thanks for connecting in. Okay. A very good morning. Any update today? IRCC was planning on making some changes based on CIC News. Well, I'm sure they're making changes. We'll see what will happen, but you know, yeah, like the reality is they did good work. So, you know, Kareem used to work for the Conference Board of Canada, and we had interactions with him, and then CIC, and then Campbell Cohen pulled him across, which is great, but they're producing good stuff. So yeah, so monitor it. You know, their practice is different than mine. I'm much more high level, high touch. They're more high volume with how they do their representation, but no one can fault the information that they've got here. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's all, you know, there's lots of good information in here. I haven't had a chance to read this yet, but I'll give them a shout out for sure, because they do good work. So, all right, we'll see what happens, won't we, Ami? We will see. We will see. Okay. All right. Okay. My family's in, okay. I think my family is in the United States of America. Citizens, can I live inside Canada? They are nearby countries. Not quite sure what the question is there. Not quite sure. Let's see. Okay, Shale, this is a great question. And this is one that we cover right at the very, very beginning of the course. But the question here from Shale is, do you need a cumulative 1 year of work experience in Canada for CC, or does it have to be continuous? It's absolutely not continuous. It's just the FSW that's continuous. And if you look here in the course and you go and you just click on the link, it'll tell you all about the course. And this time we've changed this landing page so that people can see exactly what, what's going to be included in here. But if you scroll down to the bottom, this is something that I'm really excited about, is that I'm working very, very closely with the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants to offer CPD credit. So if you're interested in this, reach out to me via email, and you can see right here, mark@canadianimmigrationinstitute.com, and I can answer any questions you have about this, because for years I've had, consultants take the courses and I haven't offered, the CPD credit for them. So that's all changing now. Okay. But if you scroll down here to the bottom, you will see right after the FAQs here, you will see a detailed breakdown of the entire structure of the course. And you can see here, learning the basics about Express Entry in a nutshell, how the CRS system works, case scenarios. And the reality is, in this Express Entry in a nutshell, this is where I cover the specific question that you've just asked. And so the great part about the course is that it works for anyone. And, the key is that the more advanced time, like by coming in, subscribing to the course and taking it now, even if you're not ready or in a position to go through Express Entry, it helps you to formulate what you need to do now. And so that you can be prepared and ready when that ITA comes, or even to increase your chances of success, which also is, it's all built into here, the CRS system and how it works. And then the case scenarios, all of this, first steps in eligibility, all of this covers, and you can see here for CEC describing exactly the difference between the two, but there is an absolute ton of lessons on all these topics and individualized for all of the documents. There's checklists, there's templates, there's sample documents. And yeah, you definitely want to consider subscribing and joining me. Okay, let's keep cruising along. That was a great question, Shale, right in the wheelhouse of Express Entry. Okay, and yes, people, yes, Maninder is, just hoping for some good updates today. I know we all are, right? We all are. For people whose work permits are expiring. And I just met with a company in Ontario who is employing a foreign worker whose work permit's expiring, and we are looking at the global talent stream. So he's working in an occupation, and so we're going to work through that process and just see what the possibilities might be to extend his permit if, heaven forbid, Minister Fraser doesn't do something to extend the expiring work permits. So we'll keep you posted on that. Okay, so let's jump to some super chats here. So Imran says, I have a police certificate from India, which I was hoping to submit after getting my ITA. Can I then travel to India without my PCC becoming invalid? So once you've submitted your EAPR, this is the thing. So once you get your ITA and you've submitted your EAPR, then you're locked in at that date, not when you get your ITA. So you want to make sure, Imran, one, go join me in the masterclass, but you want to make sure that your police certificate is completely valid at the time in which you get that EAPR submitted. Once it's submitted, then go home. If you want to go home for a visit, it's not a big deal. I've never seen them request an updated police certificate just because you went home. If you were there and you remained there and you changed your address, then that might change things. But there shouldn't be any issues with you doing that. But make sure that your police certificate is valid when you submit your EAPR. And within the course, I have a whole section that's devoted exclusively right here to police certificates. Okay. There's like a ton of lessons in here, and you can pick and choose the information that applies to you. So, all right, let's jump back and see what else we have for questions. Let's go back. There was a couple of chats that came through. Okay, and I think we got this one, but here we go. We'll pull this one up again. So we got a proper UCI number assigned in our application. Does it mean that R10 is passed? You are as far as the proper UCI number, that's really hard to say. Anytime a person completes a profile or, excuse me, depending on the type of application that they get, UCIs are created instantly whenever someone has their first interaction with immigration. And the interesting part is because sometimes people won't realize this. And if you don't indicate, yes, I've applied to immigration before, and that yes, I have a UCI, what it does is if you have a work permit and a study permit with one UCI, if you don't mention that or fail to indicate what the UCI number is, it actually creates a duplicate so that you have two profiles within the whole immigration global case management system. And immigration really doesn't like that. That gets really frustrating for them. And so, yeah, so the whether or not that UCI means that you've passed R10, that's not an indicator, I guess, in and of itself. So I wouldn't say that it's a guarantee, but it's definitely forward movement for sure. All right. Okay, let's see what else we've got here for questions. Let's see here. We'll get down as I jump through those super chats. Then I got to find my place again in the questions here. Yeah, everybody's hoping for the good news, aren't you guys? Okay. Yeah, and lots of people, I know you guys, most of the questions all relate to what is going on with this stuff. FSW, Ontario PNP, December 2020, SINP, not sure what's going on, our application, any positive note you provide. So FSW Outland PNP, I think is what you're saying, SINP. Well, when it comes to processing times, and this is discussion also that I had with Minister Fraser, it was the last thought that I left him with after we got off of our Teams call. So Kyle and Lisa were with me, as well as our CBA staff lawyer, the liaison representative, and the minister and his staff. The last thing that I discussed with them was the need to deal with this. And I'm just going to shift over here. So you guys have gone here. So I'm just typing in IRCC processing times. Okay. So when I click on this, open it up, and then I look at this economic immigration right here. So Canadian experience class, federal skilled worker, that's the one that's where all the pain and suffering is, right? I already applied, get processing times. So this is what I talked to him about, because this is what I was quite upset with. And I said, this serves no purpose for people to see 6 months listed here. Because remember, this 6 months, all this is the service level standard. You can see if you click on here, we're committed to processing most applications within this time. It'll vary based on all these things. Well, this is not helpful at all, because as you guys know, the processing times for FSWs were up over 20 months as of November of last year when we got that little leaked memo. But ultimately, if we go here and then we go to provincial nominees, and then it says, is it online or via express entry? We're going to say here, let's see here. If we said no, have you already applied? I already applied. And then get processing times. You can see here now they're actually honest. This used to say 17 to 14, but now you're up to 25 months for paper-based PNP applications. If we say it's an express entry and then we get processing times, once again, this is not helpful. So it's not helpful because clearly when we go back here, you can see that what's going on with the application? Well, it's in this big, massive queue. And I'll be honest, if I flip back here and then I go back once again to the federal skilled trade and I click on processing times here, it says 6 months. If I go back to the PNP and I go to, is it express entry? No, I actually, and I already applied. I actually feel like this is more, is more closer to, the range. It's more closer to 25 months than it is 6 months. Although please, please, please understand that yes, they are working to prioritize. And so if the Outland FSWs are 20 months, then I have to assume that the PNPs, which they have commitments to continue processing, are probably below that. So are they 12 months? You can probably do the math, and we could spend hours trying to sort out what the processing times really are. But one of the things that we're doing that I'm really excited about is CELA, the Canadian Immigration Lawyer Association, CELA.co. I'll show you this. So I'm immediate past chair for the Canadian Bar Association. I better spell this right here, CELA.co, right here. Is that going to work? There we go. Okay. That's not it either. Maybe it's not dot dot. I thought it was .co. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so this is another Canadian Immigration Lawyer Association site. Well, one of the things that the lawyers within CELA are doing, something that we can't really do within the CBA, is they are creating, they're actually creating, as you can see here, just like you guys have done. Let me collect my thoughts here and try to refocus on what I was trying to tell you guys. I had about 4 hours sleep last night, putting some finishing touches on the course. But what they're doing is they're creating, just like some of those sites out there, a database where all of us lawyers, you know, however many immigration lawyers are out there, 1,500 lawyers, can constantly update with the reality of the processing times that we're seeing in our daily practices. So we're creating a database that's going to be able to allow lawyers to input the most recent processing times for all of the various applications that we do, so that we no longer have to rely on this. That is, you know, when it says for an express entry that it's like for federal skilled workers. Oh, let's go back to the right one, federal skilled workers here. And I already applied, so that we don't have to, you know, not know, because 6 months is just clearly not accurate. Okay, lots of, I was dancing all over the place there. So hopefully that made sense. All right. Okay, Shell says, how long does a PCC from the UK stay valid? I have a PCC that's 2 years old, but I haven't been to the UK since then. It doesn't expire. Now, if it's, you know, 7 or 8 years old, I guess technically you might want to update it. It's not hard to get a new updated police certificate from the UK. But if you've not been back since that police certificate was issued, in other words, it was issued after you left the UK and you never returned, then that police certificate doesn't expire. And once again, I cover all of that in the course. And I even have, and the interesting part about the actual document section is that I have a database full of a bunch of police certificates from countries all over the world. And every time people take the course, if they have a police certificate from a country that I don't have, I get a copy of that, we redact it, and then we use it as an example so that people can see what their police certificate should generally look like. And it's a wonderful resource that's been built through the many, many years. We're probably into year 4 now of the Express Entry step-by-step course. 2021 was the first year that I started doing master classes now, where you can actually go live and ask me any questions that you want about the process. So remember the link below, you can click on that to join, and we're starting tomorrow at 5, but you can access the course material right away if you want to. Okay, let's go back to another super here. Let's see what we've got. So this one is, oh, we got to adjust this. I think that's it. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see if we can get this. Now, remember, this is Express Entry, but I'll honor it. So I applied for TRPR, and by mistake, I had uploaded a friend's. Oh no! Didn't we talk about this, Nihar? I thought I'd heard either you booked a consult, or no, you wouldn't have booked a consult. But this came up somewhere. Maybe you said, did you take the TRPR pathway course? I can't remember. So you accidentally uploaded a friend's background declaration instead of my form in my portal. Do you think, will they send me an AOR or any request to send a correct one? I think you're in pretty shaky ground. I really do. It's, okay, no, we haven't talked. You're not the only one, Nihar, that's experienced this. I have a client who didn't upload the important schedule, the TRPR pathway schedule, a client, and we have heard that someone was able to get by. You know, they did send an additional document request, an ADR, to them. But in the context of submitting one that's completely wrong, anything can happen. It's not as cruel and heartless as Express Entry, but we have seen a few people get applications TR-to-PR pathways refused. I've seen it myself. And so, yeah, and I understand the schedule and the generic form is totally different. Understand, because it was not yours, right? So I think obviously they don't give you a real opportunity to update everything. And so you've done exactly what you can do. That's the best that you can do as a web form, and then just cross your fingers and wait and hope that you have an opportunity to correct it. So you've done pretty much everything that you can do, Nihar. All right. Okay, let's see what's next here on our list. Okay, let's see here. This one's Manasi, and Manasi says, if I receive an OIPP notification of interest and I accept, submit my documents, and after a few days, my profile expires. So in that case, what do I do? Will the OIPP application be valid? This happens a lot. It really does. You're going to quickly reinstate your profile. You're going to put it back in, and then you're going to notify the OIPP that your profile expired and you've renewed it and give them the new profile number, your new e-number. That's what you're going to do, Manasi. And then once you get your OIPP nomination, then you are going to come and you're going to join the course, or you're going to join it right now. And we'll make sure that you are completely set up to make sure you're avoiding all those top problem areas. I want to show you guys something as well. Speaking of top problem areas, last night I was thinking about ways that I could just create more value for all of you. So I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I, what can I do to create the most value to help people, the absolute most? And if you haven't watched it, I did upload, and if I flip the screen over here, and I say, are you an PNP nominee? Get your questions answered live. Okay, so that's today. But yesterday, right here, I uploaded a video. Thanks to my video editor, he added a little bit in there to give it a little bit more context. But my top 3 tips that you must know for 2022, all about Express Entry. So if you haven't had a chance to head over here and take a look at this, do it. Because basically, it's not just the top 3 little tips, but I dive into deep areas of these tips to give you insight. And I'm not going to do a spoiler on this one. You need to go over and check it out. But if you're looking at Express Entry, those are the things that I see people make mistakes more than anything else. And not only identifying the problem, but I provide some really, really valuable solutions. And in all honesty, it's some of my best stuff. So I recommend that you head over and watch that video if you haven't had a chance to do that. And yeah, all right. So let's keep zipping along here, get to some more questions. I'm going to have to end just a little bit early here because I have, excuse me, I'm just going to open up my calendar here because I have a consultation at 1:30 today. So this one is going to be 45 minutes. So we'll dive in and get to some more questions here. And then, like I said, as soon as we see those levels plans come out, then we'll make sure that I will absolutely give you insight, deep insight, not just here's what it says, but here's what the levels plans are really meaning, what the potential is, all of those kinds of things that dive in deep that you really can't do in a in a blog post or anything like that. The only real way that you can really express yourself is to get on live and just do a video all about that. So stay tuned. Okay. Let's see here. Who is up next? Okay. Karen says, CC Inland, took the IELTS and PCC on my current passport expiring this year. If I renew my passport inside Canada and don't go outside of Canada, do I need to retake IELTS or PCC again? So it doesn't matter which passport that you had linked to it. What matters is the expiry of those documents. So your IELTS is valid for 2 years. The police certificate, if it's where you live, if obviously you're in Canada, CEC, so it doesn't apply because you don't need to provide a Canadian RCMP at the front, up front. But if it's a police certificate from, say, India, for instance, and you obtained it after you left, so you haven't been there, then that police certificate, whether it's tied to your current passport or another one, it's not going to expire. It will stay valid. Good question. Good question. Okay, this is probably one of the questions I get more often than any others, Vivek. CRS is 477 and my age is 28. Should I wait for FSW or take the study route? Understand that any person who's able to get a study permit and come and study in Canada is going to give themselves another option. So absolutely, it will give you options. You still, if they start doing rounds of invitations and you're eligible through the federal skilled worker, you can still qualify even while you're studying. So that's one of the advantages. One of the disadvantages is sometimes it's a little bit of a dance. And you're 28, you're not necessarily too old, but it has to make sense. And if you have a profile in the pool, sometimes officers look at that as an indication that you have permanent intent, that you are intending to come to Canada permanently. And therefore that can, in some cases, undermine you're basically saying, look, I want to study for one reason, not to immigrate to Canada, but to improve my education so that I can go home and that I can be in a position where I can improve my job prospects in my home country. And that's where that balance is so hard. If you say on one hand, I want to be a permanent resident of Canada, but on the other, I just want to study so that I can go home. It's hard sometimes for officers to reconcile that. And it also depends on the country you're coming from, Vivek. So yeah, so that's not something that I can tell you, what you should do in this type of a context. But one thing I can tell you is that, just like I always say, everyone, I ring the bell here and tell you to slide over and book a consult, and then we can look at this in detail. And the lawyers, when you click on speak to a lawyer here, you've got lots of options. There's Alicia, and there's Chanel, and there's Susan and myself, and we're all here to help. So all you have to do is click on each of the book a consult section, and it immediately takes you to the calendar, and then you can click on here and choose whatever times you want. So because we've got so many lawyers here, we have the ability really to tailor the consultation so that they fit your timing, essentially. All right. Okay, let's see who's next up here. Okay. Okay, Sharma. Hey, Mark, love from Assam, India. Thank you so much. Effect of the expired EEFSW profile on student visa. Some insights, please. Okay, so we talked about this before, and every country is a little bit different. So obviously, some countries, it's much more difficult to get a visa to come to Canada. Other countries where you don't need a visa at all, and you're just applying for a straight up study permit, they don't treat them the same way. And I think lots of you have watched what my good friends Will and LJ have been doing with their IMLIGHT podcast, but they've released a lot of approval and refusal rates for countries. And so if you're coming from Japan, for instance, where you don't need a visa, but you do need a study permit, and you're coming to study, but you've had a profile in the pool, well, over 99% of them get approved. And so it's not a big issue. But if you're coming from India, then they're constantly looking for reasons to refuse applications. And in those cases, sometimes, remember, a profile that you submit is always a part of your record. It's not just because it's not a formal application that it doesn't form a part of your history. And individuals can see, the officers can see your immigration history, which includes the profile. So does it have an impact? Yes, it does. The extent to which it has an impact depends upon all your other evidence, all the other reasons, your education plan, your statement of purpose, explaining why you want to study, why this school, why this program, how it's going to help you to get this job in this sector where Canadian education is really highly respected. Or maybe you have an employer who says, if you go to Canada and study and get your Canadian bachelor's or postdoctoral degree or postgraduate diploma, whatever it is, and you come back, you've got a job waiting for you. And in fact, I'll give you a raise, right? So those are all the different factors. So it's not a simple equation of, if I've had a profile, I'm screwed. That's not the case, but it does have a powerful effect in some countries. Okay. Kimia says, hey, Mark, do you think there will be any good news for graduates and currently working graduates and currently working in Canada who could not attend TRPR? I believe there is. I think Minister Fraser is going to take some steps. And like I said in my past videos, and those of you who are watching on YouTube, they're all right here. I went into depth in previous videos talking about what I think the future is going to hold. And I also talked about the meeting that I had with the minister and just the impact that I think it's going to have on this whole process. And so you can see how things have changed from no more express entry draws in 2022. The question mark is there for a reason. That question mark is emphasizing the fact that no one knows for certain. But after this, I had a meeting with Minister Fraser. And when I had that meeting with Minister Fraser, which I also talked about here, I can't remember which one it was. It's all a blur now. I've done so many videos. But I talked about the fact that he was very, very focused on doing all he could to help international graduates, because you guys make awesome immigrants. You make awesome permanent residents because you've got Canadian education. You've got, and that education then is a lot easier for Canadian employers to accept and to make room for you and give you opportunities. So there we go. Masood says, hey, Mark, just moved to Moncton, New Brunswick from Dubai. Cool. Awesome. Very, very neat. But Masood, are you going to miss Canada for the first time, fingers crossed, in the World Cup? Oh, so hopefully you're going to be able to go back. I wish I was there. My good friend Nathan works. He's an in-house counsel with a company and he's based in Dubai right now. And oh my goodness, I'd love to go there. It's hard to believe Canada potentially has the ability to go back to the World Cup. Woo, that would be fantastic. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, Pavneet says, will there be no EECEC draws till 2023? I don't believe that's the case. It's possible, but I'm not on the side of that. I don't believe that's the case. I think that there's going to be movement. I think there's going to be opportunities for people that are here that traditionally would have had roots through CEC. Until the ground kind of levels, I think that there will be opportunities. They may not come till mid-year, like I've said, but I believe there is. Okay, so there we go. Immigration Levels is going to be launched today. Yes, it has to be launched today. Today's the last day, and we understand that that we're going to see that based on good old reports here from Kareem that they're expected between 3 to 4 Eastern time. So that should be any time now. It's 1 o'clock. So maybe they're doing it right now and I'm missing it. So yeah, so we'll see, but it should be right around this time, 1 to 2 right now. So, and I don't think anything has been, CRC News. Let's see here. Newsroom, anything? I don't see anything here yet. Excuse me. Nope. Nothing new updated yet. So we will see. Nope. Nothing yet. But theoretically right around this time. So we'll see. Okay. Greetings over from Nairobi. Greetings to you too. Let's see what else we have here. Yes, I think everybody, SJ, have got their fingers crossed. And Yu Chen, hello, good to see you. Let's see what else we have here. Mikhail, good to see you over in Toronto. I think we're all praying, aren't we, that things will be positive. Okay, this one here. When it comes to the vaccinations, yeah, I'll have to cross that one off another path. I haven't had a chance to look at the Sputnik and the Pfizer. And so, yeah, I can't answer that one. I'm just not sure what that one, how that one relates. So Nutty Raspberry, that's one I'll have to pass. Okay. It's good to see you, Mohammed. Good to see you too. Okay. We're waiting, aren't we? We're waiting to see if there's any news on the Express Entry draws. I think we're all just keeping our fingers crossed. Now, it will be a little bit. First, the levels plans will come out. Then we'll get an idea. The minister hopefully will offer some thoughts and give us some intel. In his speaking notes, we'll definitely, the moment we hear anything, we'll let you know. Okay. Okay, background checks in progress. Both closed work permits on the PR file. What is the process starts after background checks is complete? Well, once the background checks, they do the background, they do the medical, they do the security. So probably the security, which you don't see happening in the background. That's kind of the last component to it. And then if everything is green light, then you should see a passport request. That's usually the next step. Okay, let's see. We're going to try to focus on Express Entry here. Thanks, Mikhail. Appreciate you connecting in, jumping in. Okay, this person says, any chance for NOC 4163 business development through PNP? We're from outside Canada. Current score is 462. Some provinces do extend notifications of interest. I just had a consult. I think it was this morning or yesterday afternoon with a client who they were both outside of Canada. Actually, no, it was this morning. And they got a notification of interest from the province of Alberta. And as a result of their work history. and they have gone through and got a nomination. It was really fast. Like, big shout out to the AINP, because I think it was approved in less than a month, which is really quick for the AINP. They got their nomination. So yeah, so it's possible. Anything is possible. Yeah, Vishal, immigration plans, we are. Let's hang tight and see what happens there. So anyone who has a question that doesn't relate to Express Entry, remember, all you have to do is get ready to join me on Wednesday. And I'm just looking here to see, I'm not sure. I'm going to flip this over. So Wednesday, if we go back to here, the main screen, let's see, actually, let's go back. Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure this out. Okay, there's playlists and there's videos, and I'm just trying to go back to the main one. There, home. Okay. All right, let's push this one back here a little bit. I got shrunk out of there a bit. Okay. So basically here you'll see that I've got the special live here. Oh, we need to get that posted. So if you watch here, you'll get notified that so Wednesday at 10, and then Alicia is 11, is Thursday at 11. You'll be able to get your questions answered in our traditional lives. Let's go back here. So yeah, the Canadian live. So this is Wednesday, and then Alicia is Thursday with me. And so you definitely want to go and check this out. And then we'll try to get the questions answered that are of a more general nature. But today is all about Express Entry. And it's a lead in for those of you who have tuned in just a little bit later. Click on the link below and join me, my next course and masterclass, where you get me 5 days in a row for an hour to ask any questions you want. Everybody that comes in here is just like a family. I love it every time I do these masterclasses. We have a private Facebook group that's linked for just the people who are attending. And even though you're not maybe ready to do it now, I can tell you that there's nothing more important than trying to get ready, prepared, and set up now. The worst thing for me is when people book consults and they should have taken steps a year ago, but they didn't know. And now time is running out. They're missing out on opportunities. They didn't realize that their work wasn't going to work for Express Entry or whatever it might be. And by coming and taking the course with me, you can get prepared now. Even if you're not expecting to get drawn until 2023, it doesn't matter. You will have access to all of this for life. All of the videos that I have within the course, all the lessons you can see here. Igor put this together for me, 642 minutes of premium video content and 5 hours of live masterclass with me. So all of these, you can see what it's all about. Everything's in here. And so we go through all of this in great detail, and we cover things at a level that works for the very beginner all the way through to those that are really the most experienced. And like I said before, those of you who are immigration consultants, it's perfect for whether you're individual or a consultant or a lawyer, it doesn't matter. But we're working right now with CICC. I've got approved, so it's just a matter of getting the course reviewed and verified. But there's CPD credit that's going to be available for consultants who want to take this. So I'll just share my screen over here, and you can see this is the landing page here, the 15th through the 19th. And as I scroll through here, once again, you can see we're working on that. If you have any questions, you can send it to my Canadian Immigration Institute email address, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. But if you want to learn all the details, it's all right here, covered in here. So 642 minutes of videos and 5 hours of live master classes, and you have access to every single module lesson for life. And even the Q&As and things, if you're not able to attend every day at 5, you can post your questions in the Facebook group, and they will all get answered. Not one person's question will be unanswered, and you can ask as many as you want. It's all designed to give you this opportunity. So if you haven't subscribed, there's still time, so head on over and do that. All right, let's see. I don't think I missed any other chats. I'll do a quick little check here. Oh, yeah, we've got a couple that have slid in there. Okay, Sharma says impact of expired FSW profile on student visa approvals. Okay, so I covered that one. And then, okay, Naseri says we will have TRPR for non-essential healthcare essential works. We're not sure. We're not sure. It's very, very possible that they could open it up again. And I can tell you that the moment they do, you guys will see that there is a course that's been created to guide you through, just like last year. I think we had, at the end of the day, there was probably about 450 people that went through the TRPR pathway course. And there are very, very few that are not permanent residents right now because they just had a leg up on everyone. So yeah, awesome. Okay, I'm going to go with a couple more questions here. This is awesome. I love these people like this. I wish you were Michael Scott, Bobby. That's great. This guy is just trying to sell his course. That is awesome. I love it when people point that out because it's really, really good for me because this course right here that I am trying to sell and promote is 100% something that I believe in. And I personally feel that every single person in the world should take that course. And then I know it will benefit them. Far better than following maybe Bobby here, Joker, who I don't know what his story is, but anyone who doesn't actually use their real name and has a fake picture, well, you can see how far you're going to trust Bobby here. But anyways, I appreciate his comment because lots of people, they always say, well, Mark, you know what? I get all this information for free online. Why in the world would I want to take your course? You know, I can get everything for free. And you know what? You totally can. And I'm sure Bobby would direct you to some great Facebook pages or some WhatsApp groups, right, Bobby? And where people could go there and get, you know, lots of information. But at the end of the day, what I offer in the course is stuff that's going to help you avoid the minefields, help you to avoid the pitfalls. And right from the very beginning of Express Entry, when I was on a working group with the Canadian Bar Association, before it was even launched, I knew that this program was going to be wonderful and awful all at the same time. And the reality is, Bobby and everybody else that's laughing at Mark trying to promote his course and his masterclass is that if you guys had any clue how many times I had consultations with people who listened to friends like Bobby here and didn't see value in things like this, who wanted to do it themselves, but you know, thought they would just, it wasn't worth it to get any extra little help, which is really what the course is. It's designed to take you DIYers at heart and to fill in all the gaps and pieces. But yeah, I love comments like this. These are so important for me because it helps me to reflect on why I'm doing the course in the beginning. And right now, one of the main reasons that I do the course is to make sure that people have an avenue that's affordable to get direct access to an immigration lawyer. And the reason that I created this course was so that I could scale what I'm doing. I can only work one-on-one. We charge $4,000 for a collaborative review. And I love doing that. I love working one-on-one. In fact, right before I was going through with a client and we were one-to-one reviewing the entire application, something I hold up against anyone out there in terms of representation, the model that we have. It's lawyer working directly with the person. But this course was designed for me to amplify the work that I do. I can teach 30 people at the same time and they pay $347 as opposed to the $4,000. And the course helps them who are DIYers to support the work that they're doing to get their application right. And then the videos and the instructions and the checklists and everything else are all there to help you put your application together so that it gets approved the first time. So thank you so much, Bobby. I am so grateful for that comment. That was awesome. Okay, let's see. We'll go through, I got 5 minutes before my next consult starts, so let's zip through a few more. We're going to really stick to Express Entry related. Are the PNP draws also going to stop, Raghu? I may have to decline ITA because of delays in PCC. This is something you need to be very, very careful about. If there's an option, I try to avoid declining, but we do feel like based on the minister's instructions that there will continue to be PNP draws. It's part of the agreements that they have with the provinces across the country, the feds in the provinces, but understand that there's no guarantee. And so would I proceed forward with submitting a PCC or an explanation that I applied for it but don't have it? I would only do that in exceptionally rare circumstances where I truly felt I would never get another ITA. But depending upon when your nomination expires, those are all things you have to take into consideration. But Raghu, I would never ever advise anyone to decline an ITA here in this live stream without having them book a consultation. Oh, and by the way, our buddy here, let's see here, Bobby. Thanks for reminding to Bobby, because I also remember direct people back to our website, and all you have to do is go to Holthe Law. I don't have it in the description here for this video, but go to Holthe Law and speak to a lawyer, and then you can actually get information that you can trust versus potentially relying on Bobby and his friends who say you don't need to hire anyone because it's all for free out there, right, Bobby? So, all right. So thank you. All right, let's keep zipping through here. And we'll go with one last question. I think we've got all of the chats taken care of. Oh, someone slipped one in there. Nope, we're all good. Okay, one last question. Let's see who's going to be the winner here. We've got lots of questions about whether I think what's going to happen. Let's just scroll down here. And yeah, and so I'll just give shouts out to Bright. Yeah, we've got fingers crossed. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just trying to find one more that's really good for Express Entry. Okay, we'll answer John Gears here. So I finished my master's from the U of M. Hey, that's my law. That's my university. So I did my law school at the University of Manitoba in Robson Hall. I have a job offer, but I already have 12 years of working experience. Shall I work for 6 months and apply for PNP, or I can also apply for Express Entry? Well, there's nothing stopping you if you have the ability to submit a profile now, to do it now. There's nothing stopping you. But in terms of getting your postgrad work permit, you're absolutely going to do that. You're absolutely going to get a job. You're absolutely going to continue in work. And but if you are eligible and you're going to pursue everything that's available to you, a PNP, if FSW is available, if CEC is available, you're going to do all of those things. So that is the absolute advice that I would give. Never ever rely on just one avenue. Pursue everything you can, and to keep all of the options open, because it is extremely volatile, this process. Okay, I'm going to turn that on. There we go. We'll turn it down a bit here. We're going to wrap this up as I slide over to my next consultation. And then I'm heading out with my friend Steve to go for a bike ride. And then, well, maybe there'll be time before I have, maybe there might be time to do a little levels plan earlier this afternoon. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. Click on the link, subscribe to the course. And just like Michael Scott says to do that. And yes, we're hoping that there's going to be some greatness today. So we will see. All right, guys. Well, I'm glad you're addicted to the channel. There's always that one. Oh, we love them. It's great. Thanks, guys. Give shouts out to everybody here. Pankaj, join me Wednesday morning and we'll get your question answered. There's no problem with selling his hard work. Awesome. Okay. Ultimately, Rajan Preet, it doesn't matter whether you get the course now or a year from now. If you get it sooner, you can start making plans and knowing exactly what you need to do to qualify now. So I always recommend that people do it earlier. This is the danger, Bobby. So when you post your comments like that, then there's a few people. We're a family here, and we circle the wagons on our family, don't we, you guys? Okay. All right. I think we're just about here. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. And you guys are awesome. So I may just jump on and do another live here. We'll end off with Sadyaki. Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And let's see if the levels plans are being announced as we speak. Take care.